everyone, and welcome. In today's live stream video, I'm going to discuss reselling on the various e-commerce platforms with my guest and have him share his tips and strategies on how to help make us more successful and profitable resellers. Every Wednesday, I have a live stream, and I usually interview another reseller and have them share their tips, tricks, and techniques to make us more knowledgeable and profitable resellers. If you're interested in reselling, then you are in the right place. Just like to say hello to a few people in the chat, and as I like to say, we will get this party started. I think Randy was the first one who was here. Yes, Randy was the first one here. Sharon, my moderator, is here. Anyone else in the chat at this point? I don't believe so. Just by guess to myself, but the notice didn't go out, so it usually takes a few minutes for YouTube to put the notice out. So, like I said, let me bring my guest on. Extremely knowledgeable reseller. He'll tell you, but basically, he works 2 full-time jobs. He works a full-time job, and he does reselling. He's passionate about reselling. He basically puts in an additional 40 hours in reselling. So let me bring in my guest, and I'll have him introduce himself. Hello, Mr. Mike. Why don't you introduce yourself to the people in the chat and watching the videos?
All right, Adam. Thank you, and thank you for having me back on once again. I am Mike, Flippin Goodies. I sell currently on eBay, Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, and Mercari. Did I cover all of them? Yeah. That's where I sell. Of course, when I first started, I was like everybody else. You watch videos, you kind of learn what people are selling. So we start off with clothing. And if you look through my store, I have maybe 6 pieces of clothing left. That's all I sell. I don't sell clothing at all. I strictly moved into like vintage electronics. Anything vintage, I'll buy it and try and sell it if it's worth money. So, basically that's my background. The reason I started selling. Adam, you want me to go into that or no?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, go do your full introduction. Absolutely. I want people.
I've been on eBay since 1999. I think my account says. Started reselling for real in 2019. Now, throughout the years, I sold 1 or 2 things a year, maybe. Bought a few things, so forth and so on. And I'd gotten really sick 2 years ago. So I was out from work for like 3 months. So I started selling stuff around the house and things of that nature. And 2 years later, here I am. I'm a full-blown LLC, got insurance, doing the whole 9 yards, state sales tax. It's just, it's blowing up into a very viable business for us. I mean, it's something where most of the money that we earn here just goes into like an IRA so that we have money when we're retired besides my pension. So I don't rely on the income. It's nice, but it's not something I use on a daily basis except to reinvest into the business. So hopefully that covers that, Adam.
Right, and you're in Florida, correct?
I am in Florida. Yes.
So you have a little bit of advantage over some of us up in the Northeast and the northern parts of the country as far as sourcing.
I guess, every area has their own little niche that you can get
Absolutely.
into that can be stronger in certain areas. I would say like I originally lived in Long Island.
Right, so you know how it is up here.
So, up there you're going to find a lot of old stuff too. And then a lot of times they're going to bring it down here with them. So then I have that, so that's where, my sourcing may be a little bit stronger.
Well, you're also God's waiting room. So sometimes I guess, like I said, people bring it down with them to Florida, and then the family, has to have an estate sale or whatever. And
yeah, right. I can run down south to Tampa, or I can go east to Orlando, and hit, 100 estate sales a weekend. It's
wow.
crazy.
100. Well, yeah, like I said, there's so many elderly people in Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, you could do like I could pull it up for you and show you, but you can do easily 25 to 30 estate sales in a little section, like the Villages, for example.
Okay. And what do you use? Estatesales.net?
Yeah. So you can run over there, and I was just talking to my wife about this. Things have changed in our life, so we're thinking about like on a weekend, like a Friday night, head down south and start sourcing on the way down and kind of make a U-turn and come back up.
Oh, nice.
Doing things like that to get away for the weekend. Let me see if I can. Today's what, Wednesday?
Yes, Wednesday the 3rd.
I don't know how many are going to show up, but I could pull it up real quick.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, so this is Wednesday, right? So we're not really into prime time yet. They'll start showing up the next few days.
Right.
But those like this section up here, that's the villages, and then that would be Tampa, and that little black dot is where I'm at.
Okay.
So I can go either way for that. So this will be like, you can barely even see the villages most of the time.
Right.
And Tampa usually gets full. You see how it goes down the coast and comes back
around?
Yep.
Yep.
That's what we're planning on doing. Go down the coast to like Clearwater, and then come back up a little bit further to the east side.
And it's still nice weather this time of year.
Yeah. So that
maybe you catch a spring training game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a baseball fan or not. Your wife is, but
yeah. Well, I've been to the Yankee games a few times. So
okay.
Because
I'm from the Philadelphia area, and I know they just started the other day. They started in Clearwater, so they started spring training. So, guys, like I said, I want to have Mike on because he's like I said, he works a full-time job, and literally he puts in an additional 40 plus hours in the reselling. And Mike is, like you said, pretty much self-taught. I mean, he's watched, like you and I do. We watch other resellers' videos on YouTube, and we try to garner and take little bits and pieces of what we can use in the various resellers, and what Casey does, or what Mike does, or what I do, or what Sharon does, or Michelle does. Could be different than what you guys can do, and you might have access to different materials, different products when you're out there sourcing. So everyone has to kind of do what they want to do. And like Mike said, he's passionate about vintage electronics and enjoys selling golf clubs. So I mean, and he wants to get out of clothing. You know how I feel about clothing, guys. So you got to find your niche. You got to find what you're interested in. If you're interested in it, it's easier to work at the job. If you don't like selling clothing, and again, we all started out selling clothing because it's plentiful and it's inexpensive when you source, and you can sell your stuff and for free and go out and source to the local thrift stores, and the acquisition cost is minimal. But if you don't like doing it and you're piling up, we're going to call them cash piles, it doesn't do you any good. If you don't list it, you can't sell it. That's so right. Like Mike said, he's passionate about the electronics, he's passionate about the golf clubs. So let's get in a little bit into the content, guys, what I wanted to talk to Mike about. We had Sharon on last week's, guys, and if you missed that show, please check it out. Sharon did a great job of introducing us to the new, what I could call the new Facebook marketplace. Like I like to say, it's not your father's or mother's Facebook marketplace. Mike is actually the one that kind of like tipped Sharon and myself on that things were changing up with Facebook marketplace. And Mike does some of his sourcing on Facebook marketplace. So why don't you get a little bit into that, Mike, how you source on Facebook marketplace, how you use it as a sourcing opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, we did a live on that, and basically just showed how to go to other states so that you can widen your range and find things in different areas and have it shipped to you. And Adam, I don't know if you remember or not, but that night we got lucky, and I was able to pick up a DVD VCR recorder. That same night, I think I paid $80 for it and sold for like $350. So Facebook Marketplace is a great place to source, but I think a forgotten entity is Craigslist.
Yeah, we talked about that pre-chat. You said there's still opportunities in Craigslist. So why don't you speak about that a little bit, because that's something that I thought was kind of over and done with, but you said there's opportunities there.
Yeah, I mean, Craigslist's been around forever, so it's easy to kind of forget about it because people have surpassed it and moved on. I've done a show on Facebook Marketplace where, and I said this probably, I don't know, 8 months ago, I did a video on it where I believe Facebook Marketplace will become the next like Amazon. It can go right in. They need to fix the interface, their support, and the payment system. Other than that, if they kept their rates where they are, it would be a great platform for everybody. 5% on all your sales. And then if you can do local pickup and pay no percent whatsoever, it's a gold mine, and I have the Facebook store now, or I think it's called store or shop, one of those two. And just recently, I really started posting heavy into Facebook because I want to be, as everybody here, when a new platform opens up, and it's not new, but they're expanding it all the time. So it's something that's worthwhile to kind of focus on, learn it. It's easy. It's, shipping, it's right there for you. If you don't use, what's the name of it? I think it's GoShippo.
Okay.
GoShippo.com.
Is that the platform that they use for shipping?
No, it's a platform I use.
Okay.
It's actually very good. you can set your account up where they use their UPS rates and USPS rates. So they're very similar to what eBay charges. And then you can import your FedEx account there. So it gives you 3 options to ship. Now, the FedEx isn't going to be as strong all the time because I don't ever ship through FedEx per se, through my account. I ship FedEx all the time, but it's through eBay.
Right.
Them, so
it's more competitive. eBay's FedEx rate is more competitive than this particular company's FedEx rate.
Yeah, the Go Shippo doesn't use FedEx. Like I said, you can import your account.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, so you're using your background, and because I don't directly ship with FedEx, the rates aren't fabulous.
Right.
Since the raise of pricing of shipping, it's a learning curve for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah. Because we want to get a little bit later about the golf clubs and shipping, and you said it's changed. But I mean, just you want to cover like the basic. I mean, let's finish up what we're talking about now. But I want to get into that a little bit. So.
Yeah. And I agree. Like I said, Sharon's right. I strongly believe that Facebook Marketplace, because they have the foundation already, will be able to compete with Amazon, if not surpass Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay. In the selling platform for us, okay, meaning as resellers. Amazon, in my opinion, is looking to get rid of all the small resellers.
That's what I'm hearing from you and some of the other people that sell quite a bit on Amazon, and that they like you said, they want to sell the private label, and if they find something that's selling well, they basically knock the small guy out of the box and say, okay, we're going to sell it now.
Yeah, and then it's also now with the Child Protective Acts that they're hitting everybody with. So you might have a toy up there that you've been selling for 5 years, okay? And let's say just for example, you go to Walmart and you buy 10 of them, and you come home, you list them, and you sell them, okay? You go to Walmart now, bring that home. Next day they can hit you with a Child Protective Act, and you need to come up with a form, and you can't go to Walmart to get this form, okay? And they pull your listing. So now invest heavily in something. Make sure you're buying it from a wholesaler, so that this way you can get these forms and present them when, let's say for example, if you're going to get ungated, and you got the process, you have all the paperwork to get ungated.
Let me just interrupt you for 1 second. I know most of the people in the chat right now are experienced sellers, but if you just want to touch on ungating, basically you're authorized to sell on the platform. Basically means you're ungated.
Yeah, Amazon.
For the newer sellers that don't understand what ungating is.
Yeah. Amazon saying, okay, now you can sell it because you prove to us that you're buying from a wholesaler and can buy in quantity. Now, most people that get ungated revert back to sourcing elsewhere to find their inventory.
Right, but if you have a wholesale connection, then you can get ungated. Then right.
So
there's certain wholesalers you can buy from. They get ungated, and these Amazon chats and these Amazon groups. They kind of share their knowledge with sellers.
It's tricky. It's not for someone that's new. They don't suspend you for 3 days if you do something majorly wrong. They just kick you off permanently. You're never getting back on. So it's something we got to be careful. Definitely not for a new seller. I would never tell a new seller to try Amazon first. Right.
That's what we had discussed, and I agree 100% or 10,000%, whatever it is. Be very, very careful with Amazon. I would never. Me personally, I wouldn't start out with Amazon. I figured, it's a 600-pound gorilla, and it's like, whoa, this thing is complicated. And I bought a pretty elaborate course. And the thing with my course that I bought from Amazon, it's Jim Cockram's course. Once you pay the slight fee, you own it. And then they keep adding modules. You don't have to pay an additional annual fee or monthly fee or whatever. Right. But it is very intimidating, especially for newer sellers, guys. If you're going to start out, you start out with eBay or Macquarie or Bonanza.
Right. Even for me, I was like, when I first started, I'm like, it's a lot different. It's just a totally different thing. If you sell on eBay and you go into Macquarie, Poshmark, Etsy, they're all pretty much the same type of setup, the same gist. You can sell pretty much anything you want. It's just a whole different beast in reality. And like I said, to me, if I was starting out, I would do Facebook Marketplace first. Okay,
absolutely.
It's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, they handle the shipping, and shipping is a little intimidating when you first start out reselling.
Yeah, shipping is probably the toughest point for anybody. I've watched content providers talk about I just sold an item. How am I going to ship it? You know, it's like,
and a lot of times, it comes up in a lot of these reselling chats,
right.
these live streams, that they
Right.
get, a lot of them give bad information too.
Yeah, like we were talking before the show.
Right.
I just got these things in. I just picked these up, right? And we were just talking about this, right? These old, we'll call them video discs, okay? They're CEDs, and this is like 80s technology, late 70s, early 80s technology. You can see by the show, War Games, Matthew Broderick, right?
I want to entertain the folks here, since I don't sing, guys. I typically don't sing because of my allergies, but I'm going to give you a little invitation for any of you guys are a little bit older. Shall we play a game? If you guys have seen war games, the computers. It's a war game, and it's nuclear holocaust, and they're attacking. It's playing a computer game. It's actually a nuclear holocaust to worry about. But anyway, I'm sorry. I got my invitation.
I'm going to go through a couple. I'm not going to say 19 of them, but like Cheech and Chong, right? And then probably the best one I have is Friday the 13th. Okay. But I also have the player for this. And the player is huge because this actually slides into the player, locks in, you pull it back out, this stays in, and you have the cover back out, right? Mm-hmm. We were talking before the show, and I have this listed on eBay for $499, way overpriced. I know that. But somebody will buy this thing, okay? And what I say, Adam, 85 pounds?
You said almost 100 pounds. You told me between the disc and the player.
It's going to be right up there, okay? Yep. 2 months ago, if you would have asked me how much is that going to cost to ship from Florida to California, I would have told you an 80-pound item is going to cost you about $90, okay? Today, I couldn't tell you. It's probably going to be over 100. Yeah. Because of all the changes, I've lost the. I lost the.
It was like up to certain. Once you tell me, I forget what you said. It was up to something. It was like $1 per pound, and then it was $1.25 per pound.
Right. So my formula for figuring things out when I'm listing is, if it's over 20 pounds and it's going to stay on the East Coast. Now, this is strictly for us on the East Coast, okay?
Right. Again, this is pre-price increases, right?
Yeah, you got to kind of move along the country.
Right.
But for us on the East Coast. Anything like, if it was going to be 50 pounds, let's say, okay, but anything over 20, okay, kind of conforms to this rule. If it stays on the East Coast, it'd be about $1 a pound. If it moves to the West Coast, it's going to be about $1.25 a pound.
Okay.
Highs $1.35. Also depends on your dimensions. Okay. The biggest box I've ever shipped, I think, was 3.5 feet high and 22, so almost 2 feet, in diameter. $126, I think it cost me. And of course, that went to California.
Right.
So,
yeah, of course. I always joke on the people that watch the show, and I talk about it on a regular basis. I saw 90% of my items go to Texas or California. Mm-hmm. I saw very little to New York or Pennsylvania or Jersey or Florida, you would think, but no.
Pennsylvania's actually picked up for me lately.
Has it?
Yeah, I just sent out a golf bag today to Pennsylvania. So that's picked up. But that golf bag 2 months ago would have cost me like $17, $18.
Right.
23 yesterday. So, it's kind of, like I said, it's real hard to get a grasp yet. I have to do a lot more shipping to kind of get the feel for what it's going to be. Now,
we had touched briefly on shipping on Facebook Marketplace. I'm sorry, sourcing on Facebook Marketplace. I had shipping on my mind. When you're sourcing, when you're looking to source out of your area, again, you have the video, and I guess I can link that video after the fact. I did link your original interview that when you popped on my show. I do have that linked in the description, guys. Right. So if you like what Mike is preaching, and Mike, believe me, Mike knows what he's talking about, you might want to check out the video. I have it posted in the description. But and now again, I'll find that video, and you can send it to me via email or whatever, and I'll link it. But what is it like a basic way to, when you're looking to source via, like you said, Facebook Marketplace, if you're looking for a specific item? I don't want you to give up your holy grail. I don't want you to say, I'm looking for X, Y, Z, and But what is the basic process?
I run my normal stuff. Okay, so I am no means an expert in any field.
Right.
I always tell people I know enough to be dangerous in a lot.
Well, yeah.
So I really hone in on vintage electronics. That's my honey hole.
Right.
You know, you could pick up electronics at a estate sale for 25, 30, 40. I've paid as much as 300, but I've sold a lot of those things for $2,000 plus. So knowing what you're buying is also very helpful.
Right.
Model numbers, like I was telling you, model numbers can make.
Yeah, why don't you get into that? Because you told me we were talking about pre-chat. Yeah. You said, you know, Kenwood X. Again, I don't know the model numbers, but an XYZ 1234 could be $75, and you know, the 1287 could be $500.
Right. Yeah. There's a whole big window of opportunity.
Right.
Back in those days, they targeted everybody.
True.
You know, they wanted to sell to people that didn't have the 1,000 or 700. Because you remember in the 70s, some of this stuff cost $700. That's a lot of money.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of money back then. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So
I remember I had Technique System back in the day.
On Facebook Marketplace, I try and target things I can reach out and get here. Like the most I'll travel is probably an hour and a half. So it's 3 hours round trip.
Right.
It's probably like the outskirts of where I'll go. And I try and concentrate on the electronics in this area because electronics that have shipped to me kind of eats into my profit, and it's hard.
True. So you can pick it up and
balance that out. Yeah.
And plus, like you said, if they're selling it from Facebook Marketplace and they're not selling it on the platform, you're doing a pickup, they save commission too. So they're saving 5% or whatever it is. So maybe there's a little wiggle room in there.
Yeah. See, I'm a big Sansui fan, and last week I was trying to work a deal with a guy in Pennsylvania, but shipping was going to be $300.
Oof.
So I kind of passed on because I was already at like $1,000 for the items.
Wow.
And add another 300 on top, and it was like 1,300. You know, I'm getting a little deep into it.
Sure.
And I can't look at it. You know what I'm saying? I can't touch it.
That's like, you know, once you physically have it, I guess you could file a complaint with, which we're going to get into, by the way, guys. There's been a couple of videos on the problems with the $20 eBay surcharge fee, but we'll get into that. So we'll segue into that. But yeah, I mean, once you purchase, I mean, you can challenge it with your credit card, which, you know, obviously,
but I mean, it's something where, I mean, I'm not holier than thou. Don't get me wrong, okay?
Right.
But I try and do what I say, you know. And if I tell you I'm going to ship you something, I'm going to ship it to you. Now, I should, you know, probably smack myself on this one. I sold something to another content creator.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a week and a half to ship it to her, but and it was right next to me the whole time. I was so busy. I kept messaging saying, I'll get it to you. So she was fine with it, and that's just the way it wound up, you know?
Right.
But on Facebook Marketplace, you got to be careful. I was in another chat earlier, I think it was yesterday, and somebody was saying they got ripped off on Facebook Marketplace, but they sent Cash App. You're asking to get ripped off, you know?
Exactly.
So just be careful how you pay. PayPal is the best way always.
And then if you have PayPal and you have a tied credit card, you get like a double protection. You got your credit card and you got PayPal.
Right. And usually PayPal's on point with it.
Right.
And a lot of people always say I'm very eBay positive, or, you know, because I've never had a problem that I could not resolve with eBay, you know, one way or the other, you know, whether it was a credit card dispute, a feedback that I felt was unfair to me, and stuff like that. I've never had a big issue where I had to go fight with them, you know. And even Macari, which surprised me the other day, I sent something out which I shouldn't have done, but I did it anyway. The shipping that was on Macari was wrong, and I didn't realize it when I listed the item, so I couldn't get that shipping. So I used my own shipping and shipped the item out. Well, the buyer refused to leave the feedback that you need. So I waited a few days, and I messaged Macari, and realistically, I think it was like 20 minutes later, they approved the payment, and we moved on.
Yeah, I hear Macari has much better customer service than some of the other platforms.
Yeah, well, it's not, you got to
not my personal experience, just from, you know, hearing
other resellers only. You can't call.
Okay.
You got to email, but they handle it.
I mean, we don't mention what's going on in the world because I'm not monetized, but you know, YouTube doesn't like it. But pretty much everyone is virtual now. I had a couple issues this past week calling different things, and I was ordering some homeopathic medical supplies, and you know, I called the number and I talking to the person. They were working at home. I mean, that's most people now. Not most people, but quite a few people are still working remotely, and it's probably going to be that way for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, because like on my end, as far as getting back to the Facebook Marketplace world, if you're not in, I would highly recommend moving into it.
Absolutely.
It's actually right now, it's a downgrade, really, if you think about it, right? In the fact that things don't sell as well there as they will on Amazon or eBay, but they will sell. And cross-posting to Facebook Marketplace, you're not really, like, let's say, for example, you cross-list eBay, Amazon, and Mercari.
Right.
Super dangerous, right? Especially if you only have one or two of the items.
Sure, especially with Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah. Now on Facebook,
you're out of stock with Amazon. You're what I guess you are, but you're screwed. Yeah.
Kind of says, is this available before they buy? So you have that little window of opportunity.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the golf bag I was just talking about.
Yes.
Somebody hit me last night on Facebook Marketplace that asked me if it was still available, and I had to tell them no, it just sold, and it really realistically did.
Right.
But, so that's kind of a window of opportunity there where you can kind of play with that a little bit. But you get caught on Mercari and eBay or Amazon, God forbid, and you don't have something to send out, you got to take a hit on your account.
Absolutely.
You got to be careful with that.
Especially with Amazon. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, eBay too.
Yeah.
Like it.
Now, I don't think we ever got into that. I don't recall if we discussed it when the first time you were on my show. Do you use any kind of cross-posting software, or you do everything manually?
I do it manually.
Okay. Yeah. I couldn't remember.
It's the stuff I've looked at doesn't do everything completely.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's just easier for me to do it myself. By the time push comes to shove, because I don't cross-list everything.
Right.
So it's hit or miss for me when I cross-post, because I kind of I feel like when I list something, especially my vintage electronics, most of the time just sit on eBay, because I'm going to get the most money on eBay for it. And there's no reason for me to worry about selling the car or anything like that, because it's just a lot of lowballing over there for me. It doesn't, not for everybody.
Mercari is more lowballing. I was going to ask you that. Mercari is more lowballing for vintage electronics.
But even eBay lately, I mean, eBay's been horrible lately. Like the last 3 weeks or so, it's been like everything. Like this thing I was just talking about, I got listed for $500. I got an offer today for $50 free shipping.
$50 free shipping.
Yeah, $50 free shipping. I was like, okay.
All right. I know you're a pro, so I'm setting you up a little bit here. But how would you respond to that lowball offer, or would you respond?
I countered offer.
You countered offer. Absolutely, is what you do. You counter offer.
Yeah, $1 lower.
You win, sir. Pro tip: always, 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 always counter. Always. I don't care if they're stupid offer like this. Always counter, because Cassini, the eBay algorithm, likes activity, and then that's activity, guys. Always counter. I used to be that. Screw them. I'm not going to counter $50 on a $500 item. Always counter.
Because it doesn't hurt me because I know they're not going to buy it.
Yeah, you just respond back, and you can come back with $450, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you responded. eBay's happy. You responded. Cassini's happy. You trigger the algorithm.
But he did come back at 100. His next bid was 100.
He gave up $50.
My next response to him was $497.
Okay, there you go. Bing, bang, boom, back and forth.
Now,
Cassini loves that.
Honestly, if he would have offered like 350, 300 maybe with the shipping, I probably would have sold it.
Yeah.
So it's something where, like I said, I listed it high for a reason. And the guy I talked to a lot had me do this once, and it actually worked. I had a TV that was on eBay for like 3 months, right? And I had it what I felt was a high price.
Right.
So I had it listed for $179. Now, if you watch my videos, you'll know I get all my TVs for free. I have nothing into them. So I'll get anywhere from $139. The most I've sold a TV for so far was $359. Okay. So it was sitting up there for like $179, and he says to me, make it $229. I'm like, you're crazy. I can't sell it at $179. Well, I said, all right, I'll try it. Put in $220. It sold the next day at $229.
At full price?
Yep. Couldn't believe it. Okay. I raised the price substantially, and it sold. So go figure.
I thought he was going to say raise the price and then take best offer, raise the price and put it on sale. What was his principle behind that?
I
don't know. Just that take a shot.
and he said it to me also, and I never looked at it this way. Sometimes when you have an item that's either vintage or rare or whatever, and let's say, because I comp everything, I don't just wing it and throw things up there.
Right.
Let's say the comps are saying, let's just use that example, right? 179 for that TV.
Right.
Which I think they were a little bit lower because I usually go a little bit higher on this stuff. So let's say it was 159, the comps. So I'm in at 179. Now, people come in, this happened to be a vintage TV, like the 70s, they'll come in and look at it and say, well, it doesn't sound right to me. It's just that mindset, like that should be more expensive. It's, so when I put it to 229, I guess that triggered somebody and said, okay, I'll take it. I don't know for sure. All I know is it worked. And I do it occasionally now still. If something's sitting for a long time, maybe lowering the price isn't the answer. Now, it depends on what you're selling also. You gotta remember,
true.
When you're in the vintage land, collectors...
Different.
Okay? There's no time of the year that they're going to say, well, that stereo there, I want it, but I'll wait till, next year to get it. Because they know that next year the chance of finding that is going to be rare. When I list items, a lot of items I'll list is one or two sellers. That's it. It's me.
Right. Well, like that display. I mean, have you done the research? I mean, what you said you're in price time. I'm assuming you did the research. Were there any at all for sale on eBay?
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Really?
Okay. Quite a few. Okay. And I know I'm high because if you do comp that, comps will run anywhere from. There's one up there that's new for $1,000.
New. Wow.
New. And then there's a whole bunch for like 150.
Right.
But just the receiver, no discs or anything like that.
Right. So you're selling a combo, right?
Yeah, and then there's an RCA version of that that's right around the same price. But I have 19 videos with it, and some of those videos comp out around $50 each.
And you got some very good titles too.
Yeah,
Friday the 13th, and
yeah. So putting it all together, even though it's going to be a pain in the neck to ship, is worth it to me because to sell off one at a time here and there, I'd just rather get rid of a whole lot, So for me, that's the way I sell a lot of things. I try and get rid of big bulks of things at a time.
Right.
Not always a good thing, because we were talking earlier, okay? For example, right, we were talking about this before. Let me get this bag open. We'll make it a little bit clearer.
Okay.
So I bought 1,500 of these about a month ago, I think it is now, right? So a whole bunch of Hot Wheels, right? Nothing super fantastic, but I paid $650 for the whole buy. So that puts me in about 43 cents or so, right, per car. Now, these cars here, for example, this is number 1 and number 2 of a set of 4. Okay, so is it worth it for me to list the whole set, all 4 of them? I don't happen to have all 4 of these, but I'm just giving an example.
Right.
Is it worth to list all 4 and try and sell them as a lot, or sell them individually, hoping that somebody has 2 of them and needs 2 more?
Exactly.
So that's the question on stuff like this. You gotta kind of
experiment. Feel it out. Yep.
Throw a couple up there that's the full set. Throw a few up there that's individual. And I've been taking a lot of heat from my buddies on this one. I just opened up Amazon Canada recently, and these things are selling like nuts there.
Really? I wonder why that is.
I've been getting upwards of at least $10 a car, and some cars I've gotten upwards of $30. So that's a little honey hole for me. And the ironic part about this whole thing, we were talking about Amazon with the Child Protective Acts.
Yes.
Right? Let's just, it's not this car, but I'm just going to give you an example. Let's say this car, right? I have this listed on Amazon.com and Amazon.ca. All right. I will get a hit on this on Amazon.com for the Child Protective Act, but can sell it no problem in Canada.
Okay.
And of course, when I bought this, okay, this is before they started hitting it with all this Child Protective Acts. I was planning on selling every single one of these on Amazon.
Can you touch on that a little bit? Like I said, I don't sell on Amazon. I'm not that. I know you briefly discussed it, but what is the Child Protection Act as far as how is it affected?
Or CP something.
Right.
What it is like a car like this, a child could swallow, right?
Right.
So they want these letters from the companies saying that they've run tests on it and so forth, and this is, even though it says on here somewhere,
do not swallow, dangerous or something, right?
Yeah,
children may, right?
Right here, over 3 years old, right?
Right.
So like a 3-year-old could still take this and swallow it, right?
Right.
But they want those things in place. And like I said, this stuff here, I was planning on selling all of these cars individually on Amazon, and that did not work out well.
So you can't even put, like, how they had like the suffocation warning on the plastic bag. You can't even package it in a plastic bag and put that warning on it. That you just can't sell it, period.
Well, no, yeah, you can't. I could if I can get the
letter from the manufacturer, but if you're not,
I can't go to the manufacturer and say I want a certificate for this.
Right. Yeah, because you got that Resale or RA or whatever. Yep.
Yeah, I bought these at an estate sale.
Right.
So what I did, because I was familiar with Hot Wheels, because I had bought a big lot a year ago, right? But that was a vintage lot. They were all 60s and 70s cars. Okay. What I did was I took, I think I have 54 lots of 25 cars.
Right.
Okay. And I'm selling them for $30 and I think $12.59 shipping. So you're paying like $1.15-ish, $1.20 per car.
Right.
I'm in 40, so I'm tripling up. So I'm happy with that.
Right.
And I'll get rid of these. I got like 4 in the car now. I got to ship out tonight. So, and I sold another one on Amazon.ca, which I'm probably gonna put these cars on there, the ones I don't have listed. I think I have like another 300 or so. So that will go there. But see, again, this is something where when I buy stuff like this in bulk, I have experience in it. I don't take shots in the dark on something I have no experience in.
Right.
Okay. Now, I couldn't tell you.
Well, the NASCAR you bought the locker, so it kind of came with the program. Well, and you had good news about your NASCAR locker, right? You want to share that?
Yeah, I mean,
for people that watch Mike's channel.
I paid what? I paid $750 for that locker, and I paid $150 for another one. So I bought them both at the same time, same storage location, everything like that. I went and picked it up. First locker I ever bought. I've never bought another one since. And I got super lucky.
Right.
So I was in on this, and I was talking to another guy, like I talked, and we'll talk about it in a minute. But I'm talking to him. I'm like, I'm not going any higher. And this is at $300, right? Somebody outbid me. I'm like, damn, all right, $350. I'm not going any higher. Well, that started right around there, and I got all the way up to $750. And when I put $750 in,
you're saying, no, don't take it.
Well, yeah, and I won that one, and I won another one that was kind of junky, but that actually worked out to be a gold mine also.
Okay.
So the storage locker I did buy, the main one, I was going in because you could see in the pictures a Jeff Gordon duffel bag, okay? Some, you're thinking NASCAR, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which isn't great, by the way, but whatever. Okay, so we saw that. I was able to see a box for a Wii on one side of the locker, and on the other side of the locker, I had a box for a Wii U. Okay,
so you figured there could be consoles and/or games or both in there.
Right? You're hoping. Who knows what's in the box, right?
Right.
So when we got out there,
right.
Yeah, I am a New Yorker, Tom. You know that. So when we got out there, we go in, and there was a bunch of chairs and stuff. We moved those out of the way. I get in there, and sure enough, we get to the Wii U. I pull it out. The Wii U's in there. It had a game. I can't remember the name of the game off the top of my head.
Right.
Just the one game was worth $110. Okay.
And that's the one you paid $150 for the whole unit.
$750.
Oh, that was when you paid $750 one. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the Wii was in the other box. Okay. I think it was about 15 Wii U games and like 10 Wii games. And then I pull down the first bin. It's loaded to the brim with PS2 games. Now, you're probably saying stuff, PS2, right?
I don't really know video games, so that's my downfall. I'm old enough. I had the original Atari. That's how old I am.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Right.
So, and me too, but
Missile Command and Space Invaders, and
yeah, exactly. That's what we're
right.
One stick and one button, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So in there's the PS2. There, I think I wound up with like just under 300 video PS2 games, and some PS2 games still demand good money. So we sold through all of that, no problem. And then there was a whole bunch of NASCAR stuff. All kinds of Jeff. It was mostly Jeff Gordon now. So I was really into a very narrow niche now. But off that storage locker, I probably made about $7,000 total. And then just Sunday, a guy hit me on Facebook Marketplace. I had taken a picture of my storage locker where I had all the NASCAR stuff. It was the worst picture I ever saw. But you can see, like, I had a ton of 124th cars, right?
Right.
So he says to me, he goes, well, how much would you take for everything? And I said to him, I'll tell you what, I'll take $800 and I will send you everything I have. Just let me know where you are so I can figure out shipping. Okay.
Right.
So it wound up being he was in Oregon, of course, right?
Oh, right, of course.
Wound up being Antarctica, right? So
right. Yeah, it could be Alaska, right there, yeah. Hawaii.
I figured in my head I would need to send out at least 3 boxes. That's where I was thinking box size and putting all the stuff in there.
Sure.
Well, it wound up being 2 boxes, 2 extra large, heavy duty Home Depot boxes. The shipping was $170. I think I paid $176. I charged him $350, and he was fine with that.
Okay.
He even told me, he goes, look, I got a buyer for this already. I just need it. I'm like, okay, no problem. So I was able to dump a whole bunch of room, get a whole bunch of room back in my storage locker and get rid of that NASCAR stuff all in one sell.
Well, like you said, I mean, space is valuable. Like I always talk about time is, the value of time. Time is money. And you're saying space is valuable too. You want to get something out of there and put something in, and you want to turn it over quickly. You don't want that slow dime. You want the fast nickel.
Well, no, I'll take the slow dime too sometime.
Well, if it's $300-400 slow dime, but I mean,
yeah. I mean, but it also depends
low dollar, selling price, and it takes up a lot of space.
Right. But it has a lot to do with what it is, what it's worth to me,
right,
and what my bottom line is on it.
Right.
So,
your cost acquisition, yeah.
Right, because I don't want to sell something just to sell it. I mean, that's not being in business. If you're just going to sell it at your cost or a little bit above, it's hard to run the business that way. You got to make a decent profit on all your sales. So,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So for me, on that, because I had them now for about 8 months, okay, I've already made like $7,000 off this locker. It was time to get rid of it and free up the room. Okay. Now with NASCAR season coming up or just starting or however that works there, would it have sold? I don't know, because you're talking about Jeff Gordon. I had a lot of Matt Kenseth, stuff like that. Now I did have some signed stuff that sold for very good money. But even the Matt Kenseth was kind of stale for me now. It just went dry. And it's like, he was willing to take it all and I was willing to ship it all. It was like the perfect storm, Right. I freed up so much room in my locker that I was more than happy to get rid of it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Business plan. Yeah, no, it's not a business plan. So
that's crazy card, Mike.
I mean, I still have some trinkets around from it, like this, like stuff like this, right? But you can't sell this. I mean, will it sell? Maybe eventually.
Right.
I mean, it's PS8 and everything, but
right.
I mean, I don't know. I just like this thing here. I mean, why did you even get this certified?
I can't even see what it is. What is it?
A Max race card, 1988.
Okay, I'm assuming I don't really know NASCAR. I'm assuming that's someone that's not very famous.
Everything.
Right.
See, but I think I looked this up. I think it's like $20 card.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. But they have the weirdest stuff like this here. Right? It's PS8.
Right.
And it's. But I don't know the niche. You know what I'm saying? This guy could be worth $1 million for all I know. I have no clue. Yeah. And I have one more, a Mint 9. So somebody took time to get it certified.
Get it graded, certified, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it's worth. I have no idea.
Okay, why don't we touch on? We talked about. Let's just touch a little bit on your electronics, your vintage electronics, and your most recent video. You were showing cleaning up, taking the dials out, taking the screws off, blowing it out. One question I had for you was, how would somebody like myself or people in the chat, how would they clean out? I'm assuming you had some kind of compressor. It looked like you were using.
Yeah, I just got
how like a normal. Run-of-the-mill reseller that lives in a row house. Well, what would you use to blow the air out? I mean, you can't use a little computer board blow thing, right? You can't use it.
Yeah, you can buy one of the cans. One can doesn't last very long now.
I was going to say that, yeah.
And as dirty as that was, you saw how long it took me just to...
Right.
You can use a shop vac, put it on reverse.
Okay.
Something like that. Because you don't want to go out and buy a compressor if you're only going to clean 1 or 2 items.
Well, that's the thing, too, yeah.
I mean, I said in my video, I would not send something out like that. That's a reflection on my business and how I run my business. And a lot of times with the vintage stuff, I get repeat buyers.
Yes.
So if I send out a quality item to them, they're going to look to say, okay, I need another thing. Let me look at him first, see if he has it. So you send out something like that. I mean, that was so bad inside, and I knew it was going to be bad. I got it at Goodwill. The faceplate was horrible.
You said just like the dial, the volume dial, you said was all cruddy, so you knew it was going to be a mess.
Yeah. The only thing I did wrong in that video was I didn't show it in the beginning what it looked like.
Now, why don't you touch on what you use to clean those things, and what obviously you blew it out, but what do you use to clean? And you don't want to, like you said, you got to be careful you don't take off any of the printing on the faceplate and whatnot.
Yeah, you don't want to start rubbing too hard on faceplates, because here's the thing, okay? A faceplate for a stereo, okay, depending on what stereo you have, could run anywhere from $10 to $150. Okay, just the faceplate, and it's like it's going to take you about 9 screws to get that off. Okay, and you can sell just the faceplate by itself, and then you can take the knobs and sell the knobs, and then if you don't want to sell the rest, just throw in the garbage the rest of the unit. I wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying you can sell it that way. But that one there was so bad. It took me I was probably about 45 minutes into that cleaning. But it's worth it because I paid $12.95 for it, and I have it listed for $179. So, put a few minutes into it, doesn't bother me. I enjoy doing it. It's a challenge sometimes.
Well, you enjoy doing that, right? Now, we use like warm soapy water, and then with like a cloth.
Soapy water. You can take some toothpaste sometimes, but just be super careful.
You got to be careful. I'm assuming with like alcohol or anything like that, right?
Because you don't want to do like on the face plates. You got that little side piece you can kind of test with.
Okay.
Sure.
Gotcha.
You don't want to use something that's very astringent. Like I have these things here, and I have a lot of them. But these little orange wipes.
Okay.
Right. These things work great. Okay, but they have a coarse side, the orange side, and then they have a smoother side, the white.
Where would you get those? Like an auto supply store, or where do you pick those? At Walmart, or?
I get them from work.
I get them from work. Okay.
But they work great on a lot of things. Using a Q-tip to get into the corners and around the edges and all that is very key. So worst case scenario for me, okay, buying that at Goodwill. The best I can do at Goodwill is plug it into the power they supply and see if the lights come on. That's the best I can do with it, right? But at $12.95, I know in my head, worst case scenario, I'm going to get $75 for this item.
So you know when you can pour it out as well. I mean, so that's the thing.
Yeah,
well, I know pour it out, you're going to make right.
Exactly, because by the time if you take an electronic, like let's say, I did a video on another Kenwood about 5 months ago, where I cleaned that one out. Okay,
right.
I got that for free. Okay,
free is good.
What happened there was I went to buy a turntable, and I said to the guy, "Do you have anything else?" He goes, "Yeah, I have an old Kenwood that doesn't work." I was like, "Okay, I'll take it. How much you want?" He goes, "Just take it." I'm like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah." So we went in the house. I looked at it. I'm like, "Oh boy, this is a good one." Okay, and a lot of times you can tell by weight, especially turntables.
Hope you had your poker face on.
Yeah, well, take it.
Yeah, take it. Right.
I hauled that thing out to my car, put it in the car, came home, plugged it in, and he was right. It didn't work.
Right.
Okay. So I opened it up, and I said it in this video here that I just did.
About
They
the
just
fuses.
regular 2 fuses in them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and sometimes they have 2.
You said you had to be careful with the fuses as well, right? You can damage it if you put the wrong fuse in.
Right, you got to put the right amperage fuse back in.
Right amperage. Yeah, I don't know the technical term, but I remember that you said that in the video. Yeah,
because you'll blow up your amp, and then you're done. Game's
well, yeah. So I mean, for a neophyte like me,
so I knew just by looking at it that was going to be for parts probably about a $300 receiver.
Okay.
Okay, and then when I got it home and comped it, working, that was a $1,000 receiver. Okay, it took me 10 minutes to open it up, get down to the fuse, replace it, turn it on, boom, it was working. The only other problem I had was the dial. The dial on most of them run on a string, okay, and then move your tuning, okay. So it's really not super difficult. Now this one on the top of the plastic had broken, okay, but I was able to weave the wire back in through it where it held and worked perfectly, and I sold it like that. And I did put in there that I had to put, make a repair.
It was repaired. It disclosed that in the listing, right?
And the dial isn't what you think it is. Just because you're moving that thing, right, to let's say 97.9 or whatever you're changing it to, there's a whole bunch of things happening behind the scenes there.
Okay.
They're actually tuning it in.
Right.
That there is a placebo to show you that, okay, you're in the area that station's supposed to be.
Right, like the general vicinity. Yeah.
But yeah, that stuff there, I mean, it's exciting to me when I see it. I get excited. I like the look.
Well, you enjoy doing that, and I talk about it all the time. Like you said, you don't like selling clothes. I don't personally like selling clothes. Some people love selling clothing.
Yeah,
but like I said, you enjoy selling I guess cathartic. It's like relaxing for you to take these things apart and takes your mind off what and you enjoy doing it, and you're making money. So hey, it's a win-win.
Yeah, no, I love doing that. Like I said, those sales there are great. When you sell something like that and you're shipping it out, and you paid, let's say, $300 and you just sold it for $2,500, it's a great feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's not even the money; it's more of a rush.
How much of a happy dance I could do, but I'd be doing one.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, it's something that's exciting. But yeah, the big and bulky is where I live. Sewing machines, TVs, stereos, speakers. I mean, God, if you saw my locker right now, I got 6 speakers in there. Each one of them, the lightest one's probably 35 pounds. And I have them as sets. Now, they happen to be 2 sets, happen to be Sansui's, okay? Which
is that's the brand you love to sell, the Sansui.
And one of them's the Holy Grail Sansui.
Okay.
Right. So I'm more than willing to put 2 of those in a box and spend $130 to ship it because of the profit that's involved.
Oh, absolutely.
And actually speakers are very easy to ship.
Okay.
They're one of the easy ones to ship because they're made of wood. You put some cushioning around it or underneath it, and you're good to go. I've never had a problem with a speaker. Not one. Even my TVs, I've never had a problem with a TV.
Okay. Couple things I want to address, and guys, I try to keep it around an hour. I value your time, the people in the chat and watching the video, and I value my guest time. A couple things we discussed, we wanted to talk about golf clubs, prepping and shipping, and also I want to address you had done a video about the $20 eBay surcharge, so I wanted to touch on that before you left. So when you want to take first?
My reasoning behind the $20 surcharge video, and I don't ever say people's names in videos unless I'm complimenting you, but there was a video put out about it that was like 90% wrong. The information that was given out, and this had actually happened to me. So I had all the paperwork to show everybody how the procedure went through. It was a credit card dispute. It was a brand new Nintendo Switch I had sold, showed delivered, and then the buyer said that he didn't recognize the charge on his credit card. So I followed through the whole procedure. I sent the tracking, and eBay said, okay, they'll send it on to the credit card company. The whole 9 yards. I lose the dispute with the credit card company, okay? I appealed the loss to eBay. eBay, in turn, and I think it took maybe 3 or 4 days, paid the full amount back to me. for seller protection, because I had proof that I sent the item, it was delivered, and that this person was trying to get away with, getting a free switch from it. So originally I'm out the money and the item. In the end, I got my money. So that's all that really matters. So that's the way it really works. And it's only for credit card disputes. In the video, they were talking about INADs and broke items, all kinds of stuff.
And doesn't apply to this.
No, doesn't apply to it whatsoever.
And that's only if you lose if you win your claim. Obviously, there is no fee. Like you said, they refund the fee back.
No, you still pay the $20.
Oh, you still pay? Oh, okay, misunderstood. Okay, eBay gets their pound of flex. Okay,
non-refundable.
Okay, I wasn't aware. I thought you said you get your $20. So you just got your sale price back, and you get $20.
Right, because we're talking about $450 in this.
So basically, they're charging you for the paperwork to handle the credit card claim or PayPal claim, whatever.
Yeah, because they don't do anything though. All you do is send them your tracking number.
Right, you do all the work, right?
Company, but they consider that their handling fee.
A little bit of the money grab. Yep.
Yeah. So I'd say, hey, it's part of doing business. I've had
it's the cost of doing business.
Disputes in 2 years, so I don't think it's a major ordeal. And I've won both of them, by the way.
Yes. So
it's not a major ordeal. It's a pain. Anytime you face with a return, it's a pain in the neck, especially if you did nothing wrong. If the item arrived, it was what they wanted, or let's say, like example, I set out a golf club, okay, and the guy wants a return. Says, "Oh, I thought it was right-handed."
Well, that's just error, right? Yeah.
It's clearly states in my listing it's for a left-handed player.
Right.
And I got to eat that as a return, but it's something where you get used to it.
Well, you have free returns. Is that what you're saying? You have to eat it.
I do have free returns, but on something like that with buyer remorse, I can take the money back for the return.
Okay.
So it's nothing I did wrong. So why should I be penalized for it? Now if I sent you, let's say you bought an Adams, or let's say you bought a Spalding, and I send you this rusty, crusty Adams club, right?
Yeah, I want to get into that a little bit while we have you on here talking about cleaning up your club and prepping your clubs.
And you say, well, you sent me the wrong club. Well, God, I did. I sent
that was an error. I mean, like you said, mistakes happen. Like you were saying, you were shipping out 2 of the game or something, and you shipped out the 1. You realize it's like the dual listing, combo listing.
Right. Yes.
And it happens. I mean, people, you're human. You make mistakes.
Yeah, because I did that. What was it? Last week I had that video, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I did that exactly because I didn't look at my listing when it sold. I thought it was just 1 game. I sent them 1.
Mistakes happen. You're human.
Yeah. He said I only got the 1. I said, oh wait.
And you took responsibility. You apologized and you made it right.
Yeah. I mean, I was at my locker, so I looked in my drawer, and sure enough, there the other game was. So I sent it out to him. Okay, so let's just talk about clubs real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about clubs. Yeah, absolutely. How you prep them, clean them, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so like this club here, I just pulled this out of a lot that I bought a whole bunch of clubs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Cleveland.
Okay.
Pretty good name.
Cleveland's known for the wedges, pretty much, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is 60 degree.
Okay.
Cleaned up. This is probably. I'd probably list this at $34.95.
And what would you have into it? Do you know?
I have $1.
$1. Okay.
I don't pay more than $1. I have rules I live behind.
Okay, well that's a good rule.
I bought, I think it was 130 clubs from one guy, and they were not all like this, but some were. But this, I'll sit this in a can of a cup of Coke for a day or 2, and it will clean it up pretty nice, and I'll just finish it off with a little.
That was a great tip. We talked pre-chat, and I had heard that before. I didn't realize you used it on golf clubs. So you can use a can of cola or Coke.
Yep.
And have it soak for a couple of days, and I guess the acidity in the soda eats away at the rust.
Yep, gets the rust back out of it. So it works well. I've done it quite a few times.
But not just to clean the face and whatnot. You would just use, I guess, any kind of you don't have to worry about damaging the face of it, right? You could just use any kind of cleaner.
I just use like a terry cloth and wipe it down. I mean, toothpaste
with hot soapy water, like you said, toothpaste with a toothbrush.
That's pretty good because it gets inside. I have a whole kit for golf. Like I have this little wire brush so you can get in the
grooves, right?
Grooves and everything like that. And you can watch videos where people actually take these fully apart, repaint them and everything. But I don't have time for that. So mine go out clean, but it's tough. Golf is a great niche to be in.
Absolutely.
But it's not for everybody because you have to know the brands.
Right.
And just because they're old doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to sell. All right. You got, like, I have a set of Walter Hagen's that I have listed for, I think, $119.
Hogan, right?
Did I say what did I say?
You said Hagen. Hogan. Walter Hogan.
Walter Hagen's, right?
I thought it was Hogan. Okay. I'm wrong.
So you have a club like that. That's an older club, right?
Okay.
But and it's kind of dangerous selling as a set, because when you start selling sets, that means you're looking for a golfer that's looking for a club that was made in the 70s or 80s. That's kind of hard to do.
Right.
But people will buy it. But my advice on golf clubs, something like that, is to break it up, sell them individually, because if people have the set, okay, they lose clubs, they break clubs, they throw clubs in lakes, they throw them around trees, stuff like that.
Yeah, they pass up around a tree. Yep.
And my best advice I can give if you want to start looking for golf is to work with 9-iron through sand wedge or lob wedges and putters. They fit perfectly in a medium-sized USPS tube and ship for around $10. Okay, depending on where.
Now that's obviously that's something they will not have at the USPS post office, but you can order that through USPS, like Golf or whatever. Okay.
Order the mediums and
the medium-sized box, and it's called tube. Okay.
Yeah, it's called a medium tube.
Okay.
Everything that I just told you will fit perfectly in it.
Okay.
Now, women's clubs are a little bit shorter, so you can probably go down to about a 7-iron. But once you get above like a 7, like 6, 5, 4, now you're talking about putting 2 boxes together. And if you go over 42 inches, you're looking at a big jump in shipping. So just be careful on that end.
So when you Frankenbox it, it's pretty pricey.
Yeah, you can be paying upwards of $18 to ship that out, just one club. So just be careful how, drivers.
Yeah, well, drivers, yeah.
So you got to be careful with that. Like I have a driver sitting behind me here.
Do you use like butcher paper? Do you use some kind of like filler on those boxes?
No. Okay, so.
Or do you just wrap it in bubble wrap? How would you ship that?
I can do this. Like you can see, like this club here.
Right.
Now these are both men's clubs, right?
Right. Well, that's the graphite driver as opposed to an iron, right? A wedge. Yeah.
The driver is, then the iron is, right? And that's
sure.
Properly, but you're talking about a substantial amount. That's another 10 inches or so.
Right.
So, as far as shipping, okay, I wrap the head in bubble wrap.
Okay.
I wrap the grip in bubble
wrap.
wrap.
In bubble wrap. Okay.
I throw it in the box face down, like this, and then I'll put a little filler paper up here so that this can't just wobble
around. Okay.
Gotcha. Not overly complicated. Same thing with drivers. Drivers get same exact way. Okay. Now, another thing is like this head cover. I'm not gonna take it off. The head cover.
Right.
If you can find these at estate sales or garage sales for $1 or $2, these will sell for anywhere from $9 to $19 sometimes, depending on what club.
And very easy to ship too, and lightweight.
Yeah. You throw them in a poly mail and send it out.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's
so I try and find as many of these as I can. Cobra is a great name to buy. Titleist, Ping, Callaway, TaylorMade, Nike is a good one. Garage sales, people, you'd be surprised. I picked up a set of Nikes at a garage sale 2 months ago. I paid $10 for them.
Wow, for Nike. Day. Wow.
I sold them in one day for $219. So
yeah, Nike, everything is expensive.
Yeah,
especially Nike golf.
But when you list golf clubs, you have to know what you're looking at. Like this is graphite, right?
Yes.
But you also have to know, like the grip. Does it need to be replaced?
Well, that's the other thing too. You replace the grips because obviously you're skilled enough to do that. Yeah.
And a lot of people that buy sets from me will message me and say, "Hey, look, I got to replace those grips. Can you take $30, $40 off?" And I understand a set of grips professionally put in, you're gonna pay like $60. Okay. Now
but you can re-grip it yourself, and what would it cost you to re-grip it?
It depends on what you buy. They're all over the place. What kind of grip you buy? Okay. But I want to say on average you're gonna pay somewhere around, I think it's about $9 a grip. So
okay, and then whatever materials you use, another couple dollars. So $12 to $15 your cost to regrip it.
Yeah, probably. No. It's whatever the grip costs, really.
Right.
You just take a knife and just slit it right down, pull this one off, clean it up. There's tape that comes with them. You put the tape on, you pour some glue in there, you shove it on there, and
So it's relatively easy. Okay.
there you go. Yeah, it's not hard. It's not hard. But golf is definitely a good niche to learn because it sells year round. There's no real slip in golf. And we're just getting into prime time now.
Yeah, now we're rolling in the spring, sure.
So this is a good one. Of course, and they kind of died off a lot, but they still sell very well as the DVD, VCR recorders.
Yes.
Stuff sells very well.
We're going to get a couple of your Bolos in before you leave us.
I mean, God forbid if you find a Dr. Seuss that's been canceled. I mean,
I'm not going to go there. That's all. Everyone's posted on all their Facebook pages. Like, okay, all right, whatever. I got bigger fish to fry. I can't be concerned about that.
I think I saw some on Amazon for $1,000. So
craziness.
It's hard. It's hard to know because 3 days ago you probably could have walked into a Goodwill and picked up 50 of them for $1, each or something. Today you wouldn't find one anywhere. At least it would be very hard to find them. I know somebody found one in the bins today. Sent me a picture of it.
Okay. So
I think it's a $300 book right now, which is insane. But collectors collect, like I said earlier.
Oh yeah, like I said.
So, but definitely the best advice I can give anybody is know what you're selling. Don't sell things you're not sure of.
And if you're not sure, do the research, and then you obviously do the research before you purchase it, right?
Yeah, and another good thing is get yourself into a group of people. 4 or 5.
I talk about networking all the time on this show, on this channel. Make connection with other resellers, and maybe like if I had a question about golf clubs, I could reach out to Mike. If I had a question about collectibles, I could reach out to Sharon, or if I had a question about appliance parts, I could reach out to Beth.
Yeah, because what's great about having a little group is. Mm-hmm. Usually you're going to specialize in different areas.
Absolutely.
And that will help you broaden your sales. And for me, I mean, it's so bad that I've sold women's pantyhose before.
Yeah, I was just watching that show the other day, and Amelia was talking about selling women's pantyhose, and she does very well with it. I wouldn't know what to sell, but apparently she likes selling them, and they do well. So,
but I was in an estate sale with a lady I work with quite often. And she says to me, she goes, they're $1 each. She goes, you could sell those probably for $20 a pop.
Wow.
And I'm like, all right.
Who knew? I didn't know.
My bundle. So let's see how much I really pay for them. And they sold. As a matter of fact, the lady that bought it from me messaged me and says, look, if you get any more, let me know. So, who knows? You never know. That's the thing. And sometimes I'll buy things and don't know much about it. And some of those are my biggest hits. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Sometimes you take a chance, do your research, right?
Yep. It's just something that's crazy, like that thing I was showing you before. Those CED discs, I never seen them before.
I've never seen that in my life, period, ever.
I didn't know anything about them whatsoever.
And then you're telling me there's 2 brands. I didn't realize there's even one brand. You own 2 brands.
Yeah, and then you got the RCA, you got the Xena. I'm sure there's another one. I didn't even really do that much research on it. But for $80, when I saw how many videos she had and everything, I knew I couldn't lose on it.
Right.
And now it's just a question of I listed it last night. We'll see how long it takes to sell.
Right.
I might sit on it for 6 months. In my world, you need
like you said, something like that. You're gonna make the money, so you don't mind sitting on that.
Yeah. Because that one there, I mean, like I said, I would get.
You said you only think you see that $80 invested into, and you're just gonna sell over 300.
Yeah, I mean, I could go 300, and with the shipping because it's $75 shipping. So
right.
I could do 375. That's not a problem.
Right.
I'd be fine with that.
Still more than double your money after fees and everything. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and the funny part about it is I go as far as like sewing machines and all that stuff, and I know very little.
Well, that's difficult to ship. They're heavy. Yeah.
And I picked up one last year, a Husqvarna embroidery machine. Mm-hmm. I paid $300 for that in an estate sale. It was in my $1 million estate sale house that I did a video on.
Right.
I got in. That's another big thing. If you're going to
vacuums are hot. Vacuums are hot. I mean, I've been watching some videos. People talk about vacuums, different brands.
Oh yeah, the vacuums. Yeah, I did. I sold 2
Kirby's and all the higher end things. Yep.
Yeah. What was the other one called? A Rainbow.
Yes.
A Rainbow was very good. I couldn't believe it.
Who knew?
But that's another thing. Like for me, I have like 3 main estate sale people here that I'm very close to, and they'll let me.
Yeah, and you network and you build relationships with these people.
Right, and they'll let me in. Like the one with the $1 million estate sale. She
So
let
they
me
did it early before the sale. Yep.
So I was able to walk through the house and cherry pick everything.
Cherry pick. Yep.
So, and she turned to me, and I bought that sewing machine at that estate sale. And she said to me, I will not let it go for less than 300. And I said to her, I'll pay 300 for it. She was like, okay, it's yours then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I sold that sewing machine for $2,700.
Oh,
so to me, that's priceless, having that relationship. She called me the other day.
Absolutely.
I have some electronics at my estate sale this week. Get your butt over here and let's get the deal done. So,
see, guys, some of the things I say actually make sense, guys. I tell you, the network. Mike's a perfect example of that. 2,700 hours on that sewing machine. He got early access, and he bought it before the people even came through the house.
Yeah.
Network.
Every
once in a while, I have a little gem in this brain up here.
It's always good to have other contacts. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And what Mike was saying, network with other resellers. Like I said, everybody has their little specialties, their little niches. And like I said, if I had an appliance question, boom, go on to Beth. I don't know anything about appliances. And if I had a question about golf clubs, go to Mike. That's why we do this, guys. It's, we're all here to make money. We're all here to be profitable. And that's why I do the show. I mean, I want to be more profitable. I want you guys to be more profitable. And I want to share that information. So that being said, we've had Mike on long enough. A couple things real quickly, guys. Make sure you are subscribed, because YouTube has a habit of unsubscribing people. Make sure you click on that bell, the all notifications. Make sure you hit the thumbs up before you leave. And I have a couple of ways that if you guys appreciate what I'm doing, I think I'm providing valuable content, I have a couple of ways you can thank me. Buy me a coffee, et cetera, guys. So every little bit helps. I'm trying to build up this channel, trying to build up my equipment. I have a new computer, a new monitor coming, cameras, et cetera. So every little bit helps. So anyway, Mike, I really appreciate you being here. You brought a lot of great knowledge. And guys, we'll have somebody on next Wednesday. So I hope to see you then. Thanks all.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, guys.